Welcome to the Who You Know show, where what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your business, career, relationships, and your life. I'm super excited. This episode is brought to you by Real News PR. We're at Video Marketing World, and I'm joined here today with Nic Skovgaard. Did I say that right?
Yes, you got it.
Nic Skovgaard, and Nic is the owner and founder of AlterEgo Marketing, a full-service creative agency that helps clients build super brands, both in the real world and in the digital one. So everybody, welcome Nic to the house.
Thank you.
What's up, man?
Not much, man. This is an awesome conference. Loving this.
Video Marketing World's pretty amazing, but I want to dig into what your story is. So, AlterEgo Marketing, tell us about this and how you got started in this.
If you would have asked me several years ago, I would have told you that marketing was my passion. But what I've uncovered along the journey is that it's really entrepreneurship.
Okay.
I love getting to know a business owner who loves what they're doing, who is really, really good at what they do, uncover what makes them tick, and kind of be able to tell their story. So marketing is the tool that I use to do that, and the storytelling is where all the power is.
Love that. So you get somebody who's good at what they do, but maybe the world just doesn't know it yet?
Yeah, kind of an alter ego, right?
Yeah.
Like give them that Superman.
Okay. So do you make them wear a cape or anything?
No, we make them look really good in the business professional world. So a lot of times we help them uncover that story, figure out what their why is, and then be able to tell that story with a lot more passion.
Ah, okay. So what's your why? Tell me about that.
You know what? My why is that when I was young, when I was growing up and in school, I thought I was stupid. Like I wasn't good in school. I wasn't good at sports. I wasn't good at any musical instruments. I didn't have any talent. And what I uncovered along the way is that what I was good at is talking to people. What I was good at is getting to know people and selling, but I didn't know that was a skill set until I was like 25 years old. So I spent the last 3 years working with a young entrepreneurship program called the Midland Institute for Entrepreneurship. And it teaches high school juniors and seniors how to found companies. And getting to go back and teach those kids what their superpowers are and like how to uncover that entrepreneurship and how to make money and like where their value is the best thing ever, because that's what I needed when I was a kid.
Listen, I myself, I didn't feel like I was worth anything either. You know, I didn't go to college. I don't have a formal education. Listen, I was a screw up. I was a felon.
Me too.
I was a felon by 13. Okay.
Not me too, but still.
Listen, I was in and out of juvie, messing up, getting in a lot of trouble, and anyways. So, but one of the things that the lessons that I got through all of that was communication, because I had a lot of people in and out of my household, like different types of people. My household was kind of like a homeless shelter.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people in and out, but it allowed me to be able to, have conversations with any walk of life.
Yeah.
And be able to relate to any walk of life.
But I think that so many kids, and I mean so many people, even adults in this room now, they struggle with that imposter syndrome. They struggle telling their own story. And Trevor, when you were growing up, I'm sure that you had that same thing. You had a ton of value, and you have a ton of value now, but you didn't know how to harness it. You didn't know how to talk about it, and it's super uncomfortable.
And when you're a kid, you're also trying to like find your identity and stuff like that. You're trying to find out where you fit in. I think everybody wants to fit in somewhere. So Trevor, they want to be able to have a group that they can connect with, right?
There's a quote that I love, and it's hard to read the label when you're inside the bottle. So like I can get to know you, and I can talk about your strengths, and I can talk about what you're good at, and I can like build you up. But if you do it for yourself, you look like an egomaniac, right? You look like a jerk. And that's the thing that kids struggle so hard with is like they don't know how to tell their own story. They're not confident with that, and they can't find the people to help them uncover it.
Do you have any kind of tips for that? Like any kind of step system? Like, hey, here's 3 steps to tell your story better or whatever. Anything like that?
So it's really funny. The easiest way to do that, the easiest way to uncover that, especially if you're young, is go find the people who care about you the most. And ask them, just simply ask them, what am I good at? What makes me who I am? And how do I make a difference in this world? Just ask them for that feedback. And if you go find 10 people who actually care about you to give you that feedback, teachers, parents, friends, whatever, straight up ask them. Because the thing is, you never do that. That's a weird conversation.
Yeah.
But what you'll get is from 10 different people, you'll get really succinct characteristics of commonality, of like, hey, you're a good listener. Hey, you're really good at sales. Hey, you're really outgoing. I wish I had that skill.
Ooh.
And then suddenly you're like, oh crap. I didn't know that everyone didn't have that skill. Like, I was good at talking to people when I was a kid, but it wasn't math and it wasn't football, and I didn't win an award for it. I didn't know that everyone else couldn't do that.
It's so interesting. It's like what you were saying about being in the bottle to see the label, however you said that, right? So you have your own perception of who you are, right? We have our own perception. And then there's the outside perception of what the world views of us.
Yes.
And I think they're oftentimes very different, right? And so by going and asking the questions like, hey, what do you, asking the people close to you and even random strangers who maybe see you online or whatever, just asking people, hey, what do you feel like my superpower is?
Yes.
What do you feel like my my kryptonite is? What's my weakness?
Right.
Right. And that's great feedback.
Have you ever heard of Drew Dudley?
No, I haven't.
Drew Dudley gave a TED Talk in Ontario, Canada, called Everyday Leadership. And it is literally the TED Talk that completely reshaped my whole life. And he just talks about, like, we build leadership up to be something that we're not worthy of. And leadership shouldn't be that, because if you can make a difference for someone, that's enough. And so what really shifted the whole perception is, if you can go find someone that you can help, that's you 2 years ago, the stuff that you didn't know 2 years ago, and you can make a positive impact in their life, you can make a huge difference. And when you teach, you build huge confidence. So if you don't know, like, oh, I have to go stand on the stage and give a talk to 50,000 people. No, you don't. Go talk to second graders. You struggled with, being in and out of juvie, right? So you had that struggle. Go help those kids.
Yeah.
And it will build your confidence. It will build the things that you're good at so much, because you know so much about that life because you've been through it.
I love that. You don't have to be light years of success ahead, right? What you said is 2 years, like, listen, hey, I was there just 2 years ago. I was in your shoes. And this is what I did to get where I am today. And it's like, you don't have to be light years ahead. You just got to be just a little bit further ahead in order to be able to show somebody the way, right?
Yep.
And it's actually even better. It's better that you're that close, right? Instead of, 15 years ago I was in your shoes.
Oh.
Well, you forgot. You've probably forgotten what it was like. You've forgotten what it felt like. You've forgotten a lot of those steps that you took, right?
Because
But
it seems easy now.
I love that. Just a couple of years, and you can put a program together. You could put a coaching program together. You can make money off of that.
I don't know who said this quote. I wish I could attribute it properly, but you are best suited to serve the person you once were.
I love that.
Like,
that's another great quote. Yeah.
Man, like what you've been through, go back and help those kids who are going through it, because you remember what it was like to be trapped there, to be stuck, and to like not know what to do next, or not know how to fix it, or feel like it was hopeless.
Yeah, man. And that's what I do this show for. I'm going to tell you that right now, because our audience, we have a lot of career changers, a lot of people that get let go, furloughed, fired, all these things in corporate America. And they go through this imposter syndrome. They go through the what's my value, rejection, hopelessness, all that stuff that you're talking about. And that's why I really feel led to serve this audience, because I was there at one point in my life, and it was a different scenario that led me feel that way. But I've been there. I know what it feels like, right? And so that's why I feel so led to help lift them back up and show them the way. Now, to your point with the kids, my story is a little bit different, because I was actually, I'm going to say I was almost like rescued.
Yeah.
Because the household I was growing up in, everything was chaos, and it was a nightmare. And then I was forced to move with my father, and my father showed me the way. So I had a mentor, a coach, and maybe that's the lesson there, is to find someone, maybe you're not literally pulled out of the environment, but find someone who can coach, mentor, teach, and help you. So maybe that's the lesson.
Yeah, finding a mentor or coach is incredibly valuable. If you can find somebody who's living the life you want to be living,
that's it right there.
And go just find a way to be in the same room with them, you will learn so much than you would ever learn in a million internships doing crap you don't care about.
Absolutely. And you need to go serve those people too. Like figure out how, I mean, in all transparency, so how we're here today. So I remember year 2019, video marketing world, I was introduced to Scott Simpson, came out here and I put together a makeshift studio, man. It was not this lights, camera, action we got going on here. But I did that. I was like, hey, what can I do for you? Can I bring my show? Can we do interviews? And he was like, I like that. That'd be cool. It would bring some energy to the conference. And so I did that. And then the next year, I kept bringing him people that would speak. And then the next year, I emceed it. He asked me to MC it. And then this year, we're doing this. And so, it's like figure out how you can bring value and how can you serve. What can you bring to the table? And if you can't, listen, if you're not able to sit at the table, like serve water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and not only that, but like, okay, you've come so far and you show up with this, and everyone who meets you like me for the very first time has no idea that 2 or 3 years ago it didn't look like this.
Oh, no, heck
because you look like you've got it all figured out. You look like you've got it done. And so like you've got so many people who want to be where you are now that would kill for an internship. They would kill for an opportunity to talk to you.
I'll tell you what, I'll give them the
amazing.
secret right now. So shout out. I said this episode's brought to you by Real News PR. If you want the secret, you just need to go get a good team of folks that'll put this lights, camera, action together and make you look like a rock star. Because listen, I don't know what the heck all this technology and stuff is. So shout out to Real News PR. Woo! Y'all are amazing, making us look like $1 million today. Man, okay, so tell me a little bit about you mentioned here that you dealt with imposter syndrome.
Oh, big time.
Talk to me about that story.
So, I kind of mentioned that when I was young, I really struggled with like I'm not good at anything. And
Where did that come from?
I could get C's in schools without trying. I worked my ass off to get B's, and A's felt impossible. And so I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to do homework. I'm going to guess at all the answers. I'm going to get my C's, and I'm going to go home and play Halo for 8 hours. Like, that's what I did. And so, like, I really struggle with that imposter syndrome because I graduated college with a marketing degree, literally, and this is an embarrassing story to tell now, but like I literally walked out with my piece of paper degree thinking like, okay, I got it. Somebody's going to give me a 6-figure job with a corner office and a car and crickets. Oh God. So wrong.
Yeah.
And I really thought that like they would just be lining up to come get me. But the thing I did is I coasted my way all the way to that piece of paper. I didn't earn it. I didn't do anything. I had no experience. And so when I started out, I really struggled to like communicate my own value. So I would show up in rooms and feel like, do I belong here? Like, am I good enough?
Yeah.
Like everybody else has it figured out. Why do I feel like I don't have any idea what I'm doing?
You know what I think is a quote that I heard, a shout out to Rachel Drunkenmiller. She said this quote on our show one time. She said, an invitation is an indication of a qualification.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
What happens is somebody will invite you to something, right? Because they see something in you. Right? They see that qualification. They invite you. You get that imposter syndrome because you're like, I don't know. I've never done this before. Like, for instance, last year, I was invited to MC this conference. I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
Right? Total imposter syndrome. I was afraid. I was deathly afraid. But again, an invitation is an indication of a qualification. So he saw it in me. Yeah. I've never done it before.
Well, and so that's so incredibly powerful. So like I actually have to tell a quick story here is, I was working for a radio station back in the day, and I ended up connecting with a guy who owned a local car dealership. And we, a buddy of mine and him and his wife all played like a round of golf together. And I was real young. I really didn't know what I was doing. And we had this really casual conversation, and he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. He was just completely like, hey, I want to take a chance on this kid. Ended up working for him, Steve Taylor, years later, and he literally created the opportunity for me to be where I am today because he saw something and gave me an opportunity that I'm not sure I deserved at the time.
What's that guy's name?
Steve Taylor.
Shout out Steve Taylor. Love that. And you said that was an auto?
Yeah, it's an auto dealership.
I came from the auto industry.
Yeah, I got given a marketing budget that at the time I couldn't possibly fathom, and just the trust to go do whatever I thought was best.
Wow,
that's
cool.
And I learned everything I know about marketing through the 3 years that I spent with the company.
That's freaking awesome.
Just going, and he gave me so much trust and freedom.
Yeah.
Because he believed in me and saw something in me that I don't know that I could have pitched to him had I had the opportunity. They're like, hey, do you want this job? Sell yourself. I couldn't have done it.
While we're on this topic, I want to shout out Cal Fami. He was the sales director at the auto dealership that I worked for, and I walk in there at 20 years old. I came from Harley Davidson, so I was selling. I did have a little experience. I was selling Harleys, and then went to the auto industry, and he hired me, and but he really saw something in me and really coached and mentored me, poured into me like he was a coach. You know what I mean? And he was a hard coach. He sometimes he'd be, blah, 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 blah. I mean, he was in your face and old school car guy, man. This guy would get in your face and a lot of people couldn't work for him, but I needed a little bit of discipline and structure. I needed that, and so we ended up turning into like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Like he would tell me the play to run, and I'd go run the play, and I became the top producer there every year, 6 years in a row. By the time I was 24, I was making $150K a year. Bought a house. I mean, it really started my entrepreneurial and sales career. Like it got me off to a good start.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but you're surrounded with people who want to be A players. You're surrounded by training and opportunity and people who believe in you and invest in you.
Yes.
And like that is game changing for who you become.
Every time I look in my life, the pivots, the moments in my life where I've seen big jumps, there's always somebody who believed in me.
Oh yeah.
Always. So it's always who you know. That's why the name of this show. It's all about who you know.
There are three gentlemen who have been like second, third, fourth, fifth dads to me that have literally reshaped my life. So Steve Taylor was one of the first ones. Dennis Pichard, he owns an agency in my market. I literally compete with him right now, and he is still a friend and mentor. Like he is still somebody who I look up to. And then right here in Dallas, actually, Ron Barger has invested in me and poured into me for the last 2.5 years, and it's totally changed my life. But yeah, you can find that person, and the trick is now you've got to go pay that forward. Somebody did that for you.
Ooh, hold up. What did you just say?
You got to pay that forward. Somebody did that for you, so now you need to go find somebody you can do that for.
Man, I love that you said that, because you don't know this, but I launched this thing called the Pay It Forward campaign, where I put together a program. It's a coaching program for the job seekers that normally would cost about $3,200, right? And I'm giving it for free.
That's awesome.
Okay,
that's awesome.
And but the secret is it's a Pay It Forward campaign. So what they have to do is they have to refer, in order to get access to this $3,200 program, they've got to refer 3 people in. Right. And so then those 3 people I'm going to teach to do it, and those 3 people are going to teach to do it. And so when you do the math, right, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. You do this 12 times, it's 1.5 million people.
That's amazing.
And so that's the way I'm going to make my mark, is by this Pay It Forward campaign that I'm launching right now. And I'm super excited about it. I'm really, really pumped about that. So I'm glad you said that.
We didn't even plan this, right?
Yeah.
Like it just comes. But like that's so impressive that you're creating something like that with the intention to help people.
Yep.
And I have the quote, and this is the only thing I've ever said in my entire life that I believe is worth writing down, is that the secret to life is to put so much good out in the world that it cannot help but find its way back to you.
Ooh.
If you just give and give and give and give and give, you will get more in return than you could ever imagine. And I have found that to be true over and over and over. When I help, when I do something of value and I expect nothing in return,
it comes back.
It always comes back. I get a referral,
back.
I get a lead, I get a new customer, I get something that I never could have planned for.
Yes.
But that's crazy. So pay it forward and it will all come back.
It's in the Bible. Reap what you sow. You sow a good seed, you'll reap a good harvest, man. I mean, it's the law of reciprocity. And so I love what you stand for, Nick. This has been amazing. How can the audience connect with you? What's the best place if they need any of your services or anything like that?
Well, our website is alteryourmarketing.com, and you can find me. That's Nic, Nic. Last name is Skovgaard, Skovgaard. What's really nice is I got a super unique name, so you drop it in, you're going to find me all over.
Love it, man. So y'all need to go connect with Nick. I want you to do me a big favor. I want you to blow him up all over social media. Tell him what was your favorite mic drop moment on this show. And guys, that's the show. It's all about who you know.
Woo!
Let's go, cash flow.
Like it.